Good morning, Facebook family and friends. Today it is Wednesday. It is the 8th of February, 2017. As you all know, let me pull this article up. Betsy DeVos was confirmed as the Education Secretary. The Vice President Pence broke the tie as she was voting in. So Betsy DeVos, a rich, wealthy, white Republican donor with almost no experience in public education, was confirmed by the Senate as the nation's education secretary on Tuesday, but only with the help of a historic tie-breaking vote from Vice President Mike Pence after weeks of protests and two defections within her own party. The 51-50 vote capped an all-night vigil on the Senate floor where one by one Democrats denounced Ms. DeVos to be a mostly empty chamber. But they did not get a third Republican defection that would have stopped Ms. DeVos, a billionaire who has devoted much of her life to promoting charter schools and vouchers from becoming the steward of the nation's nearly $100,000 school. So she's running the program now. It was the first time a vice president had been summoned to the Capitol to break a tie on a cabinet nomination for the first time ever. So that should tell you something. Senator Al Franken, Democrat of Minnesota, demanded that before the vote that the Republicans explain how could they support Ms. DeVos. If we cannot set aside party loyalty long enough to perform the essential duty of vetting the president's nominees, what are we even doing here? The two Republicans who voted against the nominees, Senator Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, said Ms. DeVos was unqualified because of lack of familiarity with public schools and laws meant to protect students. I have serious concerns about a nominee to be Secretary of Education who has been so involved in one side of the equation, so immersed in the push for vouchers, that she may be unaware of what actually is successful within the public schools. And also what is broken and how to fix them. She ain't there to fix them, y'all. Ms. Murkowski said last week. So, all right, so here we go. You know, he's supposed to be draining the swamp. President Donald Trump was elected to bring about change. He went out and found all his multi-billionaire rich friends. I don't know how rich people can bring about change because they're very comfortable where they are. But I want to say something about this. I don't have any children. I don't. And there's a reason why I don't have any children. I refuse to bring my children up into a world in which we live and have to subject them to an educational system that I didn't want to be in. If I had children, my children would not be in the public school system anyway. As a black African American, I'd be a fool. I'd be an idiot. I'd be downright stupid to have children to send into the public school system of America. That'd be pretty goddamn stupid on my black ass. African Americans, black Americans, whatever y'all want to be called today, black African Americans, black folks, lights, whatever. If you're sending your children into public schools, just because you went to public school and you turn around and send your children into public schools in this generation, you're a goddamn fool. And your children are not going to get an education. Children have not gotten an education in the public school system for decades now. I graduated school in 1989. And the school system has gone down, 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 down. Public school systems have gone horribly down in certain neighborhoods. Wealthy white neighborhoods, their schools seem to be doing okay. But the vast majority of whites send their children, who can afford it, they send their children to private schools, which is why Betsy DeVos is talking about getting vouchers to make it easier to pull your children out of public schools, get your voucher, and send them to a charter school or a private school, or wherever these vouchers can be used. Will this help? I don't know the answer to that. Really don't care. I don't have any children. And if I had children, they wouldn't be in the public school system. I'm not that fucking stupid. You're an idiot. If you're a black person and you're sending your children into the public school system, you a damn fool. So you get what you got coming. By now you all should know better. They don't care about you. They never have. And they're not going to care about you. You've got to care about you and your children. You have got, even if it means starting your own damn school or homeschooling your children or finding some way to educate your children outside that place called the public school system, because it ain't working. It stopped working a long time ago, particularly for black children who maybe shouldn't have been there in the fucking first place. It was never meant for you motherfuckers any damn way. And I'm being harsh today because you can't get through. People say, well, what are we going to do? How can we afford private schools? Oh, I can't afford. Don't have fucking children that you can't afford to send to get a decent education, dumb. You got all these fucking kids. I look at these kids running up the street to these horrible ass schools. I got 2 Cocker Spaniels. I wouldn't even send them up the street to these schools. Why? You're that stupid. Black folks got some serious motherfucking issues with thought and logic here. You don't waste your time someplace where your children are not welcome. Black folks shouldn't be in public schools. If we haven't taken the time to create our own schools to educate our own children, we're doomed. You know, one of the problems I have with all these mega churches they've built around town, like Bishop Eddie Long got this massive building worth nothing up there that he spent $40 million on. His ass is dead right now. That could have been a nice school. That could have been a building with a purpose versus the building worth, because they only had service a couple times a week. They were heating and cooling an empty fucking building. Why? Because he was stupid. He was green. He didn't care. He did have a little side school that was shut down a few years ago. He had a little school up there, a little elementary school or something. But that building could have been a great place for education. He didn't dream big enough. That wasn't his dream. His dream was Bentleys and Ferraris and playing with the little boys' booties. And they up there shouting, bitch, let it alone. And the same thing with Creflo, Thief, and Dollar Ass. Big ass church out there off Old National Highway. My mama go to that shit. I've been out there looking at that place. I thought, okay, this is ridiculous. He didn't buy all the little buildings around there. He can't convert any of those buildings or places into a place of education. Without education, black children are doomed. Martin Luther King set our asses up for failure. But he didn't know. He was so busy praying and hoping and shouting Jesus and praying and hoping and shouting Jesus and praying and hoping he's going to save us all. Doomed our asses. So Dr. Martin Luther King did. When they shot Dr. Martin Luther King in the head and threw his ass in the ground, black folks got their dream come true to go be integrated into these school systems, but then they realized black folks, white folks pull their kids out of these schools. They didn't want to be there with you. They still don't want to be there with you. 40-something years later. Why do y'all don't understand? That's just why Betsy DeVos, racist white ass, is doing what she's doing. She wants to separate you all. What she's saying is, you can have a public school system. And then she did go into Detroit, and she did build some charter schools. And the charter schools are failing that. I don't blame it on the charter schools. I do blame it on the parents, once again, sending themselves children into an environment where they're not going to get an education and not being in control of the destiny of that education. Bottom line is your children are only going to get an education by what you are able to give them. And if you're expecting your children to go into an environment like a public school system where you don't have control over even discipline or the curriculum, I feel sorry for our people because we just don't get it. I could go back to Dr. He set us up for failure, but he didn't know. He really thought the integration would work, and he had a dream. The little white children and little black children would be sitting in the same classroom learning together. That dream ain't came true yet the way he wants it to. You got little white kids on one side of town getting a great education. You got little black children down here on the south side not getting an education at all. And this is going on all over America, not just Atlanta, Georgia, all over, from sea to shining sea. But we are the ones that fall for this because we fell for the okie doke. Well, see, I didn't fall for the okie doke. I don't have any children. I look at my sisters and brothers and sisters and cousins, all of them raising all these children and sending them into these horrible environments. Some children come out okay. Some do go in there and get an education. But the vast majority do not. I can't take that risk. Not with my children if I had children. I would have to do whatever I had to do to put them into a school where I knew they can get an education. a private school, even if I had to create it my damn self. Even if I had to sit here and homeschool them, I would do it to make sure my children got a decent, because without an education, you're doomed. You're doomed. They ain't going to do you a bit of good today. Without an education, without teaching your children how to survive in this world, that's what I'm going to do another video, because now we have Donald Trump in office. The question comes up, how do you survive under the Trump administration? I've had a lot of ideas how you could survive as African American under the Donald Trump administration. Because it's going to be a rough ride for the next 4 years, 4 to 8 years, if he gets reelected, which he just might get reelected. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on the public school thing, Betsy DeVos, and all this other mess. So, if you like my videos, I'd love to hear you all's opinions about Miss DeVos. Call me. Post your comments on the video. If you like my videos, click like, share them with family members and friends. I look forward to reading you all's comments and thoughts about what just the confirmation of Betsy DeVos and what you think her plans are. And what do you think about how I feel that the public school system really should be abolished, and children should be able, we need to create schools in our community that conform to our standards to educate the children we want to be educated. I just think, that's just my opinion. I would never send my children to a public school environment. I'd have to either homeschool them or find them a very good private school, and I'd pay top dollar for their education. And I know a lot of you probably can't afford this. How am I going to pay for it? Figure it out. You can pay for them Nikes, cars, and all this other shit. But anyway, figure it out. That's how I feel. That's just my opinion. Anyway, I'm out again. Today is Wednesday, February 8th. Getting close to Valentine's Day, and I ain't got a Valentine's gift yet over here yet. I keep looking out for FedEx to drop some stuff off. Nothing has come. We need to change that. Anyway, I'm out of here. It's February 8th, Wednesday, February 8th, 2017. You guys have a great Wednesday, and I look forward to reading your comments.